Hello, hello, everyone.
What's up? What's up?
What's going on?
Living the dream.
Amen, brother.
We got a stranger on the podcast tonight.
Ooh, who's that?
Yeah, that's you, Prophet. You went
Oh
hiatus for
my
us.
gosh. So check this out. Okay, guys. I have been digitally detoxing and basically spent the entire week hanging out with my puppy. Like, he is the cutest thing. And today, just a little panic attack. I was sweeping the basketball court and he was running around the puppy park. And all of a sudden, he disappeared. I'm internally freaking out, but not letting it known. Walking around the park, can't find him. Go to the shop, he's not at the shop. Go back to the park, he's not there. And I was like, oh, great. A bird got him or a snake. Because he's a little like 1 pound fluff ball. A bird or a snake could take him out easily. And I didn't hear him because he's kind of a loud little guy when he sees things, and I didn't hear nothing. So I get back to the shop. I was about to tell the guys, like, hey, another one bites the dust. But he comes pouncing out from underneath the car and he got grounded. So that's been my week, dude. Pretty much Puppyville, doing work as always, but that's pretty much my week.
So, what was the digital detox like?
Oh my gosh. It's so amazing because I can't wait to hear what you guys got to say because I've been out of the loop. Like, I've been glued to my smartphone since 2017 when my homeboy gave me one, and I was like opposed to him. I was like, no, it's gonna turn me into a zombie. And sure enough, it kind of did, you know. But since then, like not knowing what's going on, not having like all those memes that I'd see in my head and just gossip on Facebook and random stuff on Twitter, and every platform has its different stuff. Without all of that, like it is so therapeutic. I'm like, I don't know. I could go in depth for hours, but I definitely recommend a digital detox, even if it's just for a day. Put your phone down, become unavailable to everybody, and see the magic that happens.
Word.
I
That's all I
did
I
got.
think
it a
our kids
couple
definitely
years
need to
ago.
hear that.
Yeah, a couple
Mm-hmm.
years ago, I did it for 30 days. Um,
Oh.
yeah, it was hard after probably the second week because everybody was calling other people, friends and
Mm-hmm.
family, and there were a couple of them will stop by where I was living at that time and says, "Everything all right?" It's like, "Yeah, yeah, no, just I'm not on social media. I'm the only time I have to use my phone is whenever I have to call a doctor or stuff like it, just kind of really important stuff. But
Mm-hmm.
outside of that, it's just I completely clocked out. And like
Can I bum a cigarette?
visual prophets, how he said that, it's different. It's definitely it's
Well, because this world is so already, I mean, we grew up in the 90s where like you'd find your friends based on how many bikes were parked in front of the house,
yep,
and now
yep,
it's like if you're not answering your phone in 3 rings, somebody's going to be mad at you. And it's just so much stress and pressure being 24/7 available. It's just not worth it. Like, I
right.
love the fact that now, if you want to talk to me, you're either talking to me on this podcast or we're talking face to face.
Word. Yeah, I think it's one of those things too that you don't realize how much effect it's having on you until you unplug
Mhm.
for a hot second.
I've gotten
But
so many Facebook like messages like, where you at? What are you doing? Blah, blah, blah. And it's like, I mean, all of a sudden you're supposed to be like posting and stuff like I'm a freaking news reporter or what?
well, we do have a reputation of being banned from everything right now, so that
I
is something
know. I have
that we're
literally
running
gotten
a
kicked
bit.
off like every platform except Instagram.
The night is young. It could still
The
happen.
night is young, right? How do we get banned off Instagram, guys? Let's figure it out.
I'm sure that we'll know the answer.
Okay, so what do you got, Lep? Like, or Beans?
Well,
Like, because
well,
like I
yeah, I was
said, I'm
gonna
out of
say
the loop.
we've all been on a hiatus. This channel got a strike for misinformation, so we're going to be a little more careful with our topics. But
Indeed.
yeah, as far as the channel goes, we kind of went on a hiatus with you. So if Beans wants to catch us up and let us know what's going on in the world, I'm going to throw some stuff up on screen, but feel free to take her away for a second.
Well, again, it's just I am also been on a break, really. Just been working a lot at work and just busy with a lot of things. Since right now I'm still actually unpacking, trying to organize the house, especially the garage and stuff. I've been kind of really focused on that. But just a little kind of information as far as the crypto goes. Um, more and more companies are adopting the crypto. Um, and I know that the Feds now, I was reading something about yesterday that the Fed they pretty much want to make the stocks start declining because with the
Mhm.
whole inflation, they're trying to battle it where they're gonna start selling their bonds to pretty much bring down, trying to help the inflation.
Okay.
So they're gonna try to pretty much crash. I don't want to say exactly crash, but bring down the stock pricing. Um, so that's one thing with that. But if that starts happening, that might another crypto might be another avenue for these investors. So we're probably gonna if that happens, then we're gonna start seeing more floods of investors spending more money or investing their money in the crypto area.
Beans, have you talked to Agent lately?
I have not.
He was telling me something this morning about how Elon Musk is like basically bringing down all the other social media platforms except Twitter and is about to like decentralize Twitter and make it so there's like a token that like we're all going to be like basically shareholders of Twitter and everything else like Facebook and all that is gonna like I saw a headline today saying Amazon's stock just plunged because there's so many fake users that are being exposed. They basically
Mm.
made millions of fake profiles to drum up specific accounts.
So interesting. I'm glad you brought that up. So I know I know somebody that sells products on Amazon,
Hmm.
where he buys large amount of supplies, and he of course he does all his homework and everything. He knows what people are actually looking for, and he supplies. So one thing that he I asked him, I was, hey, so what's all the steps that you do to do research as far as know what product to sell through Amazon? And he would just tell me, oh, this is what I do. And one of them was the reviews. He goes, it's crazy because you could look at a product, and he showed me examples. Like this one, I think it was like a potato peeler or something like that. He goes, but look at all the comments, and I start reading them, and none of I mean, there was like hundreds, and I think it was like over 1,000 comments, and I kind of just started going through them, and some of them were legit. They were talking about the potato peeler, but other ones were like nonsense. They were like completely off topic. They were not talking about the potato peeler. It was completely something different. One of them was talking about a weed whacker. Another one was talking about a paint roller. I mean, so they were implementing all these fake um, positive reviews and comments on the product to make it seem like it was ranking higher, and people can actually see that whatever product they're typing in, because they were just pretty much fluffing the reviews to get that product on the first page of Amazon. He was telling me, he was like, there's a lot of fake accounts, and they're just pretty much faking to be able to get that product up at the higher first page.
Can I share a dirty secret with you guys?
Yeah, the other thing I was going to say is Amazon is somewhat aware of all these ghost accounts or fake accounts, whatever we're going to call them,
Uh
and
huh.
they are just turning a blind eye to it because I can tell you from working in years and years in the car business, we had these customer satisfaction surveys that the customers were sent out,
Uh huh.
and by the time I left there after 2 years at a particular dealership, I won't say which one, but we had to have a list of customer emails, fake customer emails, and we would have to send these surveys to these fake email accounts. And then we would go home or to a coffee shop and we'd even do some of the surveys because the so much of the service, like you said, is customer feedback related, and they really don't care about anything other than the reviews. Are people saying good things about our product? And
Right.
everybody lives and dies with just going right to the trending page looking for the top rated item, and that's what they buy because
Yeah.
this whole world has just been absolutely eviscerated as far as customer service goes. And I think you're going to see like a renaissance of that kind of stuff happening all the time. I mean, the scams are going to get much better because people are starting to tighten up, and so I think you're going to see a lot more of this, even more than we've seen to date.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever have a MySpace account?
Oh yeah.
So I had, I kid you not, 90 MySpace accounts that were all hot chicks named like Angel Baby 775, whatever, you know what I'm saying? And they were all basically just clickbait to get you to go to a dating site, which I was an affiliate of from network. And if you signed up, I get like, it depends on the network, maybe $3, maybe $12, whatever. But it made hay, bro. MySpace was a meat market for false advertisements. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. It's amazing how
It was
that it's like
great.
it's like a whole under industry of, like you said,
Hmm.
these bot farms and
Yes,
ideas
bot
like that.
farm,
Yeah, I mean these
farming
things
the
are huge.
cumers.
We were talking on the phone the other day about how people buy followers, that you can buy,
Yeah.
Twitter followers.
Yep.
Oh yeah, dog. I had. Yep.
Yeah, there's lots of people that are running these ghost accounts. I think Twitter is guilty of it too. Elon's gonna have to just go in there and absolutely clean house.
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean,
what Agent was saying is he's gonna make it Web3, meaning decentralized, meaning if you want to make a tweet, you gotta fucking pay on the blockchain. You have to pay for it. It's not free. You cannot spam unless you're serious enough to spend money on your spam, which means advertising.
Yeah.
I think it's a great idea, really.
It is.
I mean, I would pay 3 cents or 5 cents or a quarter a tweet. I mean, I don't tweet very often, but like you said, that gets rid of a lot of funny business when you have to
Yeah.
have money to come through the door.
Yeah.
It sure
I,
does. Put up or shut up.
yeah. I think at that point people are going to be more cautious about, okay, I need to really watch what I type, not just
Yes.
pretty much throw up information or type whatever I'm thinking at the moment. Because later down the day you're like, oh man, why did I even type that?
Well, Beans, think about it. How crucial would a post be that you and I would know about that people would have to pay to comment on? You know that post would be golden. Like that's
Yeah.
knowledge.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a lot of changes as far as how Twitter operates and how people, I think, use it. Like you said, they're not going to just put out junk tweets, and they're not going to operate, bot farms, at least to the same level that they are now. I mean, there'll still be the high rollers that'll pay the price, they'll pay for the
Yeah.
tweets. I mean, but like you said, blockchain is there forever.
Yeah.
So if you say something, that's immortality in a way. I mean, it's going to
Yeah.
be there forever. Your
And
quotes.
and anybody can see it.
Yep. Well, as far as other news stories, does anybody else want to add on that, or what are you thinking? Otherwise, we can talk about the Twitter story with Elon some more, or things are definitely heating up as far as the shortages. The gas shortages and
Ooh,
whatnot.
Lep,
And
give us a rundown on that.
yeah, so there's a bunch more going on even since I made some of these index cards, but I was made some notes from a few days ago. Oil is going to about $185 a barrel, they're thinking, so up 65%. Um, so they're thinking $10 a gallon potentially by summer.
Are you
Sheesh.
kidding? Wow. It's still 375 out here.
Yep, they said
Yeah,
they think diesel will be $10 to $12 a gallon with the heating oil, basically following lockstep with diesel. So it's going to be rough. This heating season is going to be like no other.
yeah.
Saw a report today that we had, no growth basically in GDP. So if we have this same trend continue twice, that's what they consider a true recession by the actual definition, is two, back-to-back quarters of no growth where you go backward. So if we do it one more time, which I think we're poised to do so without, you know, Elon Musk's great ideas or, some sort of huge change in November, I think that we're going to see possibly a depression, but hopefully not. I mean, it's obviously not something we can prevent directly, but I think there's steps
Lep,
that we could
what
certainly
does a
take to slow it
depression
down.
look like?
Bread
Like
lines,
in
I
a
mean,
common, like a layman's terms, what would a depression be like for the common person that doesn't know what a depression is?
you would basically be in your house without any way to transport, for work. You're not going to have any reason to go to work, so to just be, what can you do to feed yourself today? That's what your day would look like. It'd be
Wow.
killing rabbits, squirrels. It'd be, rounding up cans to donate. Like the crazy things that you see in some movie would basically become a mainstay. Donating plasma will be a big thing in your life.
Oh,
You
fun fact, 16 cans out here equals 80 cents. You know what I'm
Yep.
talking about, like aluminum cans? So,
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Yep.
people start saving your cans.
Yeah, I
Oh
think
yeah.
saving metal in general is a great idea,
Mm-hmm.
especially lead.
Yes. Oh, I wanted to talk about that. What about nickel? Because Agent keeps talking about nickel, and I don't know. Like, there's certain mineral or not minerals, whatever they are, that are going to be worth so much more than they are currently that we should all start stocking up on. Silver, obviously, but nickel
Hmm.
might be another good one. And lead, like you said.
Yeah, I think it really just comes down to where you live too. I
True.
think that there are areas that would do better with metal. There are areas that do better with nickel. I mean, if you're making electronics, nickel is very important. But if you're in Minnesota, it's better to have food because winters are very long. And
Mm-hmm.
outside of a small growing season indoors, you don't have near the fruits and vegetables. So I think a depression looks a lot like, if you can't get it at a local farmer or you can't acquire it locally, it will not be on the menu. So I
Very
think that's
valid point.
the best thing for people to do, is just to buy a couple extra cans of food right now, so that you're not, at least in the first couple weeks, if we do go through a really big event, that you can stay indoors away from the crazies. Because I think the first couple weeks will be the most dangerous, and then things might level off again. But it's hard to say. The Satan 2 test by Russia, so they have a missile system called the Satan, and they tested it, which is capable of holding a nuclear payload. Um, so that's always concerning, to say the least, because I guess Russia is planning on making a lot more of them. They want to have something like 8 by the end of the year. So just to give you an idea, those are like continent capable missiles because they have many warheads. So you could basically destroy an area the size of Texas with one of them.
You know what's funny, Lep, that you're mentioning that? I was talking about this last night with some buddies, and the fact that what's really going on right now is like a resource war. There is no sense, and Putin and everybody else that is in power knows this. There's no sense in nuking any type of, valuable land space on this continent or this planet. It's all fear tactics. They're not going to do it, but they're leveraging themselves to take over the resources like we did in Afghanistan for the lithium.
Yeah, I can't see them just giving up though either. So that's the difficulty, is that if eventually, like if you were to do what the United States has done over in Europe, if you were to load a gun, hand a gun to somebody and tell them to shoot somebody with it, Like,
Well,
you,
people are people are what is it called, fodder, but the resources, the actual land, they're not gonna get rid of that. They'll get rid of the people for sure. They've done that a million times, but not the resources. That's the gold.
but they have nuclear weapons now that can literally destroy all the
Mhm.
infrastructure without
Okay.
destroying the land, where the land is actually
Ooh, that's right.
farmable.
I heard about that in 2000. The Israelis had that, the neutrino bombs.
Yep. They
Mm-hmm.
designed they're designed to detonate at a specific altitude where they
Yes, that's
yep.
gangster.
Yep. So I'm not saying he's gonna go there right off the
Adios,
bat.
humans.
Yeah, but he could definitely go there if this war starts to slip out of his
Oh, of
control.
course he will. He doesn't care about humans.
Well, I mean, the things that he says on his own, propaganda news is that he thinks that we'll be actually declaring World War III within the next few days, and that when it happens, at some point during the war, nukes will absolutely get used by at least Russia. So while he
You
can't,
mean within the next week?
yeah, that's what they're saying on the government-sponsored TV in Russia, is they're saying World War
What?
III is days away.
Jeez.
Really?
So So I don't think you say that to your people to start priming them, and then the neighboring countries are also prohibiting residents, certain age groups, like 16 to 60, from leaving the country. So they're making their males basically go on house arrest in the countries that are in the neighboring area of Russia because they're all worried that they're going to slip into war, and you can't be without your men when they're needed.
Yeah.
So
It's
where do
just
you think the first strike will be?
I think it has to start in Europe, but it's hard to say. It depends on if somebody steps over that line and pushes Russia into a corner. It's like the old saying, nothing is more dangerous than a wounded animal.
Yeah.
What if they did something like about New York? Maybe like an underwater nuke that causes a tsunami.
It's possible. I think it's also possible to go for Alaska
Why Alaska?
because they're so strategically close to it anyway, and it's a very difficult
Yeah, the
position
Bering
for us.
Strait.
Yeah, for us to come up and defend that in any real way is almost like Hawaii in a way.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's
Pearl
where they would
Harbor.
go, but they've got options, is what I'm trying to say. They have things that have been pointed out to them as strategic targets. Because if you were to put big old nukes right there in Alaska, you could hit anywhere in the continental United States with multiple warheads, and the United States has no capability of really shooting it down.
Hmm.
I mean, we have systems that are supposedly,
But why would they do that? Like, what would be the benefit of like nuking random places in the United States? Like, that makes no sense.
because like
Probably just to prove
yeah, just like
prove
I
a
was trying to
point.
say with that example was that
Okay,
if
yeah,
you
that
load
makes sense.
if you load a gun and hand it to somebody and tell them to shoot it, and then they do that, are you going to be mad at both people or just the person that shot at you?
But I mean, you're basically firing an arrow into the heart of the biggest dragon on the planet. Nobody wants to do that. Everybody knows how big the US forces are. I'm just
Well,
trying to find like reason in this because it would make no sense.
I agree with you that it doesn't make much sense, but with the things that they're saying on TV don't make sense either.
Joe,
And
would
I
it
think
make sense for anybody to try and nuke the US? No. Like, there's no benefit to doing that. You're provoking a dragon.
Did it make sense for anybody to fly fucking airplanes in the fucking Twin Towers?
That's right. 9/11. God damn it. Okay. 9/11. I forgot all about it.
You're looking at people that spend $100,000 to make us spend fucking 20 billion.
Mm.
Yes, we are.
We are.
We'll
That's
spend another 20 billion rebuilding what we just blew the fuck up.
truth be known.
see, I've got believers.
Right? No, okay. I'm dumb. You guys are on it.
I'm not saying that I think that it's going to start there, but I think we could end up there if we keep providing arms to Ukraine, which is essentially arming somebody, telling them to shoot Russia with the guns that we give them and the aid,
Hmm.
and then they do it. Or is Russia going to start getting upset with us, or are they going to just blame all of it on Ukraine? That's what I'm trying to say. Is that at some point it looks like you're fighting NATO? If it quacks like a duck kind of thing, it is a duck. And I think that if they get
Mm-hmm.
too much pressure and they get pushed back, or if something major happens, like let's just say, for example, that Ukraine sabotages something large in Moscow, some munitions factory or a nuclear weapon gets damaged in transport, and a big chunk of Russia is no longer inhabitable, they will become that wounded animal that we don't want to see.
I got you.
So at that point, it's like, screw it, we're done. We're taking whoever we can with us.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem I see right now, is that if Russia looks like they're going to lose, they have all the reason in the world. They actually said, we're all going to die sometime. That was what they
Yeah.
said on state TV. And to have that kind of mentality when they're not even really losing yet is a little scary to me.
Well, here's the
Yeah.
thing, guys. I don't think Russia is going to lose, and I don't think they've ever thought that they were going to lose, because they've been planning this out for over like 100 years. I mean, do the history. They
Yeah.
have, they are solid.
Well, Putin's been in a position of power now in Russia for over a decade. So he's been
Mm-hmm.
planning this for just as long as he's been there.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And he's a warlord.
Yep. And I mean, they did use an EMP over Ukraine, and Elon Musk was said to have thwarted that partially with
Ooh,
space tech.
Agent said that this morning.
Yeah. So I do think
They
that,
did that over there?
yeah, Elon
They
Musk was able to
did they
swoop
Starlink
set
in.
it up?
stopped it. Yeah.
Yep.
How did they set it up?
EMP. I don't know. We'll have to get the details from Agent.
Yeah, agent's probably better to explain it, but I guess my point is they've already done unconventional things, and so I
Yo, he
really
said
don't.
he was gonna make it. Did you send him a link?
Oh yeah, yeah. He told me he
He's
had to work
probably busy.
yesterday. Yeah, because
Okay.
we were talking about it, and that's why we did a show yesterday, because he didn't think he'd make it today. So anyway, there's I guess supposedly a pasta shortage going on because of what's happening in Ukraine. So people are saying to stock up on that, and just to keep your gas tanks as full as you can. Never go below half tank. Um, our food supply is supposedly under attack. There's been a bunch of food facilities that have been damaged in some weird, circumstances. Nobody really understands why there've been so many accidents, fires, plane crashes. But
I
there's a
have
bunch of them.
I have a list of the location, what plant, what day, and what cost, and all of them
What?
and all of them are fire. All of them.
That is so weird.
Yeah, I will send it to you guys.
Yeah, it's pretty whack. I mean, I'm not saying that that doesn't happen even when things are good, but it's a
Yeah,
little bit unsettling, I would say.
it's
And
I don't want to say, but
yeah, no,
this
I know where
is
you're going.
there's more to the story than there was a fire. Okay.
Yeah,
He
something to
fell
do with
down
being
the
reset.
stairs.
Yeah, but what's
Uh,
interesting though, all these manufactured plants, they are all connected in a way where all of them use GMO. All of them.
Mm.
So, I mean, I know I read a while back something about a lot of the companies are being exposed of the junk they're putting in the foods. Um, so I don't know if something like that has to be what do you call it, related to that. I don't know, but I know all those manufacturers, different companies. They're all use GMO items or stuff, products.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only other note I had was that the price of corn is way up and ransomware attacks are way up, and baby formula is still difficult to get in some places.
Hmm.
Yeah. So as far as corn, us humans, we're not even supposed to be eating corn anyway.
Agreed.
Okay.
Yeah,
Animals supposed
it's
to be
they
eating
use it.
corn,
They
Down
use
with
it in so
corn.
much
Down
filler.
with corn.
not us.
What?
What do you say to the corn before you eat it? See you later, fucker. Because our body don't digest it.
Right? That's why it's always in. Yeah, I get it. That makes so much
Yeah.
sense now.
The only way
It took
for
me
our
this
body.
year's long I was 41 when I learned that. I was today's years old when I learned that.
Yeah,
It is really weird.
you have to grind it to a powder, mix it in something, and your body is able to digest it. But because of the shell or the outer part of the corn, but we can't digest it.
Mm-mm.
We can't break it down. It's too tough. That's why it's supposed to be for the animals.
Interesting,
Yeah,
You learn something new every day.
yeah.
right?
But when we do eat it, it's already being grind fine, like you know, in chips, cereals, different snacks, stuff like that. Then when we digest it, you know, at that point, because it's already been grinded up, that we, and especially since all corn are GMO, again, um, you know, it really messes up with our system, and our body don't know what to do with this, so it stays in our body. Mijo, when I'm done with this, okay? Just hold on. Close the door. I'll be over there in a little bit. So it really messes up with our systems, our digestive system, and we tend to hold fat longer. We tend to it just messes up in so many different ways. I don't have a whole list on me of all the different things, but it really does cause havoc in our body. But mainly is our insulin. It throws it completely whack out of balance. So
Okay.
yeah, there's a lot of mainly is GMO. GMO is in pretty much everything. So
Genetically modified organisms, is that what it is?
I think that's the right. I know it's just modify, genetic modify. I don't remember
Okay,
what the O
yeah.
stands for. But
Not
I
good
know,
stuff.
yeah, years ago, I was
Okay.
talking to a farmer. He used to farm, but he retired because he can't do no more. But he, of course, you know, a farmer knows another farmer, and he was telling me that a lot of his friends and family members in, I want to say, Idaho. You know, as you guys already know, Idaho is known for their potatoes.
Yeah.
Um, but it's interesting because when I went to Idaho for a friend's wedding, we were driving around all the countryside because I wanted to go around. I want to see what, you know, I've never been to Idaho, and Idaho's always been known for having beautiful lands and stuff. And I was going around driving with my friends, and they were showing me around, and all I see was nothing but corn everywhere. And so I was talking to a couple farmers, and I asked them, I was like, hey, you know, as you know, first I'm in Idaho, and you know, as growing up, I known Idaho as the Idaho potato, and they're like, yeah, that was long time ago. Now it's all corn, a huge percentage of corn, and it's all GMO. The stuff they use for the crops, as soon as your raw land that you weren't using any kind of chemicals for to grow vegetation, if you're next door, or even across the street, when they're using all of the chemicals, the wind, when it blows over, any other dust comes over to our land. Now our crops just became tainted, um, and that stuff is not easy to get off the soil.
No, and it murders
Bean.
bees.
You
Yeah,
know what they
yeah,
do in Costa Rica? Monsanto? Monsanto will do that same tactic you just described and
yeah.
then take over the lands that their corn propagated on, saying it was like a copyright infringement or something.
Mm,
It's evil.
yeah. Oh yeah. It's a lot of shady stuff, man.
Mm-hmm.
You start getting a lot of chemists involved in foods, and we start. I mean, you've been reading a lot of reports that there a lot of doctors are doing surgeries on a lot of people that have lung problems, and they have to go in there and cut the lungs or a section of their lungs, um, and they're finding very fine uh, uh, plastic in
Wow.
their lungs. Yeah, So with that, I mean, there's plastic everywhere. I mean, they use all that stuff in every product that we use that we touch. I mean, you guys remember those products? They had those little bees to like scrub your face. You remember that? That was years ago.
Nope, I do not.
I do.
No.
I do
Okay.
not know.
Grandma
Well,
remembers it.
Yeah.
okay. Well, a lot of the products they were using those little like plastic. They were like BBs, but they were like really small, little pellets,
Okay.
and
That's
it was to
Happy.
use. Yeah. So and they were like fine. They were like almost like sand, but it was plastic. And so they're using a lot of these products. They use it mainly to like scrub your skin,
Mhm.
your face,
Mhm.
and well, this stuff will go. It's plastic. It will go down the drains, and it will start clogging up lines. Like mainly at the place, the plants where they pump the water. They were clogging up machines, the
That
filters,
makes
the
sense.
filtration system. I mean, and it will end up in the ocean. Well, plastic doesn't go away that easy.
Mm-hmm.
So they were finding fishes that they were catch, and they were cutting them open, and they were finding all these beads inside their stomach. Um, and so then they stopped selling that product with those plastic beads in them, and because
How
it was
long
getting
ago
all
was
over the
that?
place.
Many years ago.
Like in the 90s or?
No, back
It was
70s.
probably
Back to 70s.
yeah, but there was a gap, and then they picked it back up.
Yeah.
I want to say I know it was early, somewhere in the early 2000s.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, plastic
Very.
doesn't go away that easy. So
They say there's a plastic island in the ocean bigger than Texas.
Yeah, because
yes,
everybody
yes,
throws their
yes,
bottled
yes,
water, whatever, in there.
yeah.
Bottled water, like the bottled can or bottled.
Yeah.
The water
plastic.
bottles are worth 10 cents in Oregon, allegedly. We can make a mint.
Wow.
The only thing that belongs in the ocean is car batteries to power the electric wheels.
Exactly. Lithium batteries belong in the
Yep.
ocean.
Yep. The electric wheels need power. Well, that's all I got, boys. Do you have
Yeah,
anything
I'm
else?
good. Nope.
No, that's it for me right now.
All right. Well, I'm going to call it, I think, as far as the end of our show.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining it. We'll see everybody next time. I don't know where we'll be, where this will go up, but somewhere on the
Rumble.
interwebs.
Rumble.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Peace. Peace.
So,
Peace.
all right.